And you know, I look at Portland and our region, and there's a lot of stuff that makes me really happy about the situation that's been happening for us. There's a lot more work. We see cranes, we see leases, we see building permits, all those things that show indications that our city's on the move. The conversations around the projects are, I think, falling in the right place regarding where the money's being spent, how we're benefiting the community. All of those things are showing great signs. But you know, we don't have to look very far. Even within Portland, we know it's not all peachy keen. And when you pull out and look at the world, ay, ay, ay. It's been a crazy year. It really seems like we've let the crazy loose this year. And, you know, it's hard, yeah, it's really hard to deny. I mean, you know, it's not all exactly happy out there when you think about the crazy stuff that's happening internationally with the movement of people, the changing of power structures, the idea of good and evil blending to where it's really blurry with where an institution is being good, where it's being evil. When you see the way in which an organization like ISIS is terrorizing the world, all the while changing power structures in the region, the way in which it's using the internet and cybersecurity and social media to move around in society and get its word out, that really kind of alarms us to a very different thing. And I was thinking, man, you know, I remember when AIDS and cancer were the problem we worried about, and now this stuff is so much less tangible. And when we consider on the environmental side, regardless of our politics, you know, the weather and the inconsistency year to year, and the droughts in some areas, the floods in others, the fires in some places, and then we talk about the potential big one down the road. All those things happened this year. All those thoughts surfaced at one point or another. And whoa, you know, it's heavy stuff. It gets pretty crazy. And so, you know, I want to bring back this idea of what it is that, despite all this crazy stuff happening in the world, what it is that compels you and drives you towards something like sustainability. You see, the thing that all of this stuff, the crazy stuff, has in common is this idea about a disregard. Whether you're disregarding an opinion that's not yours, or a society or a religion, whether you're disregarding gender, whether you're disregarding the planet, a species, an ecosystem, all of that, in one form or another, is one person or a group of people agreeing to disregard something. And you see, sustainability is very opposite of that. It is what compels you to hold something in high regard, so that you do not waste it, so that you optimize its value, so that you nurture it. And all of that stuff is what sustainability compels us to do. Now, I care about clean water, clean air. I love open space, and so I really like the Bull Run watershed because it does all of those things for me in one shot. I care to protect the Bull Run watershed, you know, and so that compels me. I also care about my children. And I care about their health and their well-being, and so I think about the food I give them. I think about the schools they go to. And this is what compels me to sustain the world. And so I encourage you to look at that. In 2016, I want you to think about what you value. Because, you know, we know the old adage, you cannot manage what you do not measure. But let's be clear. You do not measure what you do not value. And so I ask you, what do you value? Let that fuel what you are going to sustain in 2016. If it's your children, then let it be your children. If it's your business, let it be your business. If it's your employees, let it be them. If it's that salmon, if it's crab cakes, if it's lobster, if it's the surf, let it be that. But keep in mind that whatever that thing is connected to a lot of stuff around it. And it's nurtured by an entire organism, an entire ecosystem. And so you might want to look at those things and see, what can I do to help those things be available? And so when I look at my children and I think about the food, then I think about, well, what about the farms? What about the ag system. How can I work to sustain that? And so I urge you, in 2016, despite the craziness of who might come to office or who might take over what next, I encourage you to think about, in your day-to-day, what is it that you value? And then start connecting that to the work you do in your business, in your job, in your off time, and sustain that. Because not all of us are going to be worried about the same thing. And just like the issues we have today, it took more than one person to get us here. It's going to take more than one person to get us out.
Right.
So, happy 2015. I look forward to the journey with you. I look forward to working to sustain together. I really admire, sorry, maybe it was the traffic.
Absolutely fair.
I really admire the work you guys do, and it's part of what sustains me.
Great.
So,